Snake Island lies off the coast of Sao Paulo and is regarded as one of the most dangerous places on Earth. The island is home to 4,000 golden lance-head vipers, a snake so venomous its bite can melt flesh and cause organ failure within hours. With reports of up to 10 snakes per square meter, there are almost no safe spots on the island. Entering means risking multiple bites in minutes. The snakes ended up stranded here thousands of years ago, after rising sea levels cut the island off from the mainland. By the 1920s, the last human inhabitants were also gone. Local lore says people attempted to clear the territory on the island for banana plantations by burning the forest, but the snakes defended their home. Shipwrecks along the shore have added to its cursed reputation. Today, the Brazilian Navy bans public access both to protect humans and snakes. Lake Natron in northern Tanzania is a shallow soda lake with pH levels as caustic as bleach and temperatures up to 60 degrees Celsius. Its red hue from bacteria makes it look like Mars. The water is so alkaline it can burn human skin, cause blindness and even suffocate from its evaporating minerals. The lake's surface often looks like glass, tricking birds into flying straight into it. Once trapped, the combination of heat and alkaline water desiccates and preserves their bodies, leaving behind eerie stone-like statues of calcified birds and bats during dry seasons when the water recedes. This has given Lake Natron its reputation as a place where life turns to stone. But some species survive here. Flamingos nest along its shores and a few adapted fish endure the water's chemistry. But for most creatures, including humans, Lake Natron is lethal. The Darvaza gas crater, or the door to hell, is a massive burning pit in Turkmenistan's Karakum desert. The crater is about 70 meters wide and 30 meters deep, created when Soviet drillers punctured a natural gas cavern in 1971. The ground collapsed, releasing poisonous methane, and geologists set it on fire to stop the spread. What was expected to burn out in days has instead raged for over 50 years, with flames reaching 500 degrees Celsius and toxic fumes rising. The intense heat makes the edges unstable, and drones and equipment often fail when flown too close. The early history is murky. Some claim the collapse happened in the 1960s and was only lit in the 1980s. Relevant records are either classified or inaccessible. Turkmenistan's government has debated extinguishing it, calling it harmful to health and the environment. The Vozrozhdeniya Island, once hidden in the Aral Sea in Central Asia, was a top-secret Soviet bioweapons testing site where some of the deadliest pathogens were developed and released, including anthrax, smallpox, bubonic plague, brucellosis and tularemia. The cover blew in 1971 when a research vessel accidentally drifted too close. A young scientist on board contracted smallpox despite being vaccinated, sparking an outbreak that infected 10 people and killed 3. The following year, 2 fishermen reportedly died after entering restricted waters, suspected of pathogen exposure, while locals reported abnormal fish die-offs nearby. In 1988, nearly 50,000 antelopes suddenly died near the site, believed to be linked to an anthrax leak at the Aralsk 7 test facility. Soviet authorities later dumped up to 200 tons of anthrax slurry on the island, creating contamination that will remain dangerous for centuries. Though the Aral Sea has largely dried and the island is now connected to the mainland, visiting it remains a severe health risk. Gas masks, protective suits and full decontamination would be essential since traces of pathogens still linger. Centralia is a ghost town in Pennsylvania, consumed by an underground coal mine fire burning since 1962, likely ignited by a landfill mishap. Once home to 1,000 people, only 5 remain after most fled in the 1980s. Streets buckle from 400 degrees Celsius heat below, sinkholes swallow roads, and toxic gases like carbon monoxide seep from steam vents in hot zones, creating a wasteland that inspired the Silent Hill series. The fire, still spreading slowly, could burn for 250 years, making Centralia a haunting no-go zone where nature and neglect reclaim a lost American town. North Sentinel Island is an Indian archipelago in the Bay of Bengal and home to the Sentinelese, one of the world's last uncontacted tribes. They live in complete isolation and respond to outsiders with violence. 2 fishermen who tried to illegally harvest crabs on the shores were killed in 2006. And in 2018, an American missionary, John Chow, was shot with arrows after attempting illegal contact. The tribe's aggression likely stems from past encounters, including an 1880 British expedition that kidnapped several members, exposing them to deadly diseases. Even helicopters flying overhead have been attacked. Little is known about the Sentinelese language, culture, or population. The island itself is dense jungle, lacking freshwater sources and surrounded by dangerous reefs. To protect both the tribe and outsiders, Indian law forbids approaching within 5 nautical miles, enforced by Navy patrols. The restriction is also meant to shield the Sentinelese from modern diseases against which they have no immunity. The Danakil Depression in northeastern Ethiopia is known as the most inhospitable place on Earth. Sitting at one of the planet's lowest points, it's a landscape of lava fields, salt flats, acidic ponds, and sulfur springs. Temperatures average around 34 degrees Celsius year-round, peaking at 63. Even microbes struggle to survive here. The ground is unstable. Brittle salt crusts hide pools of acid strong enough to dissolve flesh. Toxic gases like hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide seep from vents, capable of knocking a person unconscious instantly. Violent sandstorms, hyenas, and constant volcanic activity make the area even deadlier. The Valley of Death in Kamchatka, Russia, is a volcanic zone where toxic gases make survival impossible. More than 40 different fumes seep from the ground, creating an invisible cloud that kills birds mid-flight and causes over 100 animal deaths each year. The gas forms in spring when the snow melts, first poisoning birds that drink from the river and then foxes and other carnivores drawn to feed on the carcasses. The corpses remain for years, scattered across a barren landscape where no plants can grow. Temperatures in the valley swing from -50 degrees in winter to over 30 in summer, but the real danger lies in the gas concentrations that can knock out or kill humans within minutes. The area is strictly closed, restricted to rare guided helicopter flyovers. The Bermuda Triangle is a stretch of ocean bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico that has become infamous for mysterious disappearances of ships, planes, and people. The region is notorious for sudden storms, powerful currents, and rogue waves that can reach over 100 feet high, easily swallowing vessels without a trace. Deep ocean trenches and suspected methane gas eruptions add to the risks, while magnetic anomalies have been blamed for navigation errors. Over the decades, large aircraft and ships have vanished here without sending distress calls, fueling speculation about supernatural forces. In reality, the triangle sits in one of the busiest shipping and flight corridors, where unpredictable weather and human error already make travel dangerous. Some cases are likely overstated, but the unsolved ones, like Flight 19 from 1945, where 5 Navy planes vanished in clear weather, keep up the mystery. Lake Nyos in Cameroon is known as the Killer Lake. In August 1986, the lake suddenly erupted in a rare limnic event, releasing a massive cloud of carbon dioxide trapped beneath its waters. A white mist rose more than 300 feet into the air and rolled into nearby villages, silently suffocating over 1,700 people and countless animals in minutes. The disaster was caused by volcanic activity under the lake, which steadily fed gas into it until pressure forced it to the surface. Degassing pipes have been installed, but locals still fear the lake. Adding to the threat, the surrounding region is prone to landslides and earthquakes, which could trigger another sudden release. Fraser Island off the coast of Queensland, Australia is stunning, but also considered the world's most dangerous beach. Its waters are filled with deadly Arukandji jellyfish, blue bottles, and great white sharks, while strong tides and rip currents make swimming treacherous. The shallow sand spots in lakes on the island are often invisible and have led to broken necks for people unaware. The island is home to over 200 wild dingoes that have attacked tourists, including a fatal mauling in 2001. It also harbors 18 snake types such as the venomous eastern brown snake, one of the world's deadliest, besides venomous spiders. Still, over 500,000 people visit annually. Skeleton Coast of Namibia is one of the most unforgiving shorelines on Earth. The indigenous San people once called it the land God made in anger, while Portuguese sailors named it the Gates of Hell. Its reputation comes from thick fog, powerful winds, big waves, rip currents, and shifting sandbars that have wrecked countless ships along its desolate stretch. Reaching the shore offered little salvation. The heavy surf made launching back to sea impossible, and survivors faced either coastal swamps or the burning Namib Desert with no water. Many perished trying to escape, leaving rusted wrecks and bleached bones scattered along the beaches. The coast is also home to predators like sharks offshore and lions, jackals, and hyenas inland, adding to the dangers. Mount Sinabung in northern Sumatra, Indonesia is one of the most dangerous active volcanoes in the world. After lying dormant for over 400 years, it erupted suddenly in 2010, unleashing ash, gas, and rocks that forced mass evacuations and killed at least 17 people. In 2014, pyroclastic flows cost the lives of a journalist and 4 schoolchildren, while over 12,000 residents were displaced. Another eruption in 2016 claimed over 7 more lives, and in 2019 an explosive blast blanketed farmland and homes. In 2021, the volcano erupted 5 times in a single day, producing a column of dust and gas 5 kilometers high, and pyroclastic flows racing with temperatures reaching 800 degrees Celsius. The underground deposit Herfa-Neurode in Germany is the world's largest underground toxic waste repository, often called one of the most poisonous places on Earth. Buried 650 meters deep in a former salt mine near the Monte Carli Waste Mountain, the facility has stored over 3.5 million tons of hazardous chemicals, including arsenic, mercury, cyanide, and dioxins, since 1972. The underground site covers an area comparable to Munich. Operated by the German company K+S, the dump receives 70,000 tons of industrial waste annually, earning €260 per ton. The salt formation seals the toxins, but it dissolves in water, creating a long-term risk of contamination for the nearby Werra River and the surrounding ecosystem. Critics warn that even a minor quake could trigger catastrophic leaks, and past fires, like one in 1986 sparked by a cigarette, prove it's not foolproof. K+S claims the site is secure for at least 10,000 years, but its massive poison stockpile earns it the nickname Germany's secret poison basement. The Ijen volcano complex in eastern Java, Indonesia, is one of the most striking yet dangerous sites in the world. Its centerpiece is Kawah Ijen, the largest acidic lake on Earth, glowing turquoise but holding water as corrosive as battery acid. Fed by hydrothermal vents from below, the lake is so toxic it can dissolve metal and even cause teeth to fall out if used as mouthwash. At night, the slopes of Ijen burn with blue flames, created when sulfuric gases escaping from cracks ignite on contact with oxygen. These flames soar up to 5 meters high and reach temperatures of 600 degrees Celsius. The gases are extremely poisonous, and visitors are required to wear gas masks when hiking to the crater. The volcano is also the site of one of the world's most dangerous mining operations. Local workers harvest bright yellow sulfur deposits from the lake's shores, often with little more than wet rags for protection. Sudden releases of sulfur dioxide and other toxic fumes have claimed at least 74 miners' lives in the last 40 years, while many more suffer long-term health effects. Mailuu-Suu in southern Kyrgyzstan is one of the most radioactive towns on Earth, a former Soviet secret city that processed 10,000 tons of uranium ore for the nuclear program. Home to 25k people, it's surrounded by 23 unsecured dumps holding 3 million cubic meters of waste. Persistent contamination from radon gas, heavy metals, and radionuclides has caused high cancer rates, birth defects, growth retardation, and weakened immune systems. In 1958, a tailings dam failure released 600,000 cubic meters of radioactive sludge into a nearby river, killing several and poisoning the Fergana Valley across borders. The danger worsens with frequent earthquakes, landslides, and floods that could spread waste further. Madidi National Park in Bolivia is a stunning yet deadly rainforest, home to 8,700 species of plants and animals. Jaguars, otters, and crested eagles roam alongside venomous snakes, spiders, fire ants, and stingrays, plus toxic plants and parasitic worms like botfly larvae that burrow into skin from minor wounds. Visitors also face diseases like malaria, unpredictable weather with torrential rains and flash floods, and unsafe water carrying parasites. The remote jungle is also a hotspot for illegal activities such as narcotics trafficking and logging, adding human threats. The Cave of Crystals, buried 300 meters beneath Nika Mountain in Chihuahua, Mexico, is home to the largest crystals on Earth, some as long as redwood trees and weighing up to 55 tons. Formed over millennia by mineral-rich fluids heated by magma, this stunning cave is a death trap. Inside, temperatures soar to 58 degrees with nearly 100% humidity, so that a person begins to overheat within minutes. Breathing becomes difficult, heat stroke sets in rapidly, and without a protective cooling suit, survival is impossible. Even with specialized gear, scientists can only remain inside for about half an hour. The acidic groundwater adds further danger, and unstable crystals could collapse any second. The cave remains off limits to the public and was apparently sealed and flooded. Death Valley, straddling the California-Nevada border, is the hottest and driest place in North America. Its record temperature of 134 Fahrenheit makes it one of the harshest environments, where you die from heat stroke in hours without water or shade. Bad water basin salt flats burn feet through shoes, and storms in surrounding mountains trigger flash floods that turn the valley into a deadly trap. Rattlesnakes, black widows, scorpions, and coyotes add to the danger, while rodents in the area can spread the deadly Hanta virus. Abandoned mines hold explosive gases, unstable tunnels, and wild animals posing further hazards. The Bikini Atoll, a coral reef in the Marshall Islands, is one of the most radioactive places, scarred by 23 US nuclear tests from 1946 to 58. Its secluded lagoon was ideal for testing, but 167 residents were forcibly relocated to Rongurik Atoll, facing starvation, poisoned food, and no fresh water. Operation Crossroads detonated 2 atomic bombs, sinking dozens of ships and contaminating waters. The 1954 Castle Bravo test, 1,000 times stronger than Hiroshima, unleashed catastrophic fallout, irradiating Japanese fishermen, spoiling tons of tuna, and poisoning nearby islanders. Lingering radiation collapsed farming and fishing. Over half the displaced Bikinians died from radiation-linked illnesses. Even today, rusting warship wrecks like the Japanese flagship Nagato leak fuel, compounding the contamination. The US paid over $125 million in compensation, but Bikini remains largely uninhabitable. The Road of Death, aka the North Yungas Road in Bolivia, is infamous as one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Stretching between La Paz and Coroico, it is a narrow 3.2 meter strip carved into the mountainside with sheer cliffs dropping hundreds of meters on one side and rock walls on the other. There are no guardrails, and many sections are barely wide enough for a single vehicle. Summer brings dust and rock falls that limit visibility, while the rainy season turns the clay surface into a slick, unstable track where vehicles can skid off the edge. The road's history is grim, with hundreds of yearly deaths. The worst accident occurred in 1983 when a bus veered off a curve, killing over 100 people. Since 1998, at least 18 cyclists have died attempting the descent. Ozyorsk, aka the Nuclear City, is one of Russia's most secretive. Built post-World War II to produce plutonium for Soviet nuclear weapons, it was hidden from maps and tightly guarded with barbed wire and armed patrols. Residents lived in relative comfort compared to the rest of the USSR, but were never told about the dangers of radiation. In 1957, the Mayak plant near the city suffered a major nuclear accident, releasing a massive radioactive contamination across the region, rivaling Chernobyl. The disaster, kept secrets for decades, left Ozyorsk and its surroundings among the most polluted places on Earth. Radiation levels remain dangerously high, with nearby Lake Karachay so toxic that simply standing by it for 2 hours can be fatal. Residents face soaring cancer rates, birth defects, and shortened lifespans, yet most cannot leave due to their exposure and erased identities. Mount Erebus, aka the Gates of Mordor in Antarctica, is the southernmost active volcano on Earth. Its permanent 1700 degrees Celsius lava lake churns molten rock, while toxic gases like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide rise from vents, risking suffocation. Blizzards, gas pockets, and ice cave collapses threaten the few scientists with permits who dare explore. The boiling lake in Dominica's Morne National Park is a natural hot lake formed by a flooded opening near a volcano. It's filled with a grayish blue water that bubbles at nearly 92 degrees Celsius. The surrounding air is thick with steam and the sharp smell of sulfur, while the ground vents hot gases and sprays that can scald exposed skin. Reaching the lake requires a demanding full-day hike through the Valley of Desolation, where hikers pass steaming vents, bubbling mud pots, sulfurous streams, and sudden bursts of volcanic gas. 2 hikers and a local guide died there in 1900 when a sudden release of volcanic gases caused them to collapse and fall to their deaths. Oymyakon in eastern Siberia is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. This remote village has recorded lows of minus 71 degrees, with winter averages around minus 50. The ground is permanently frozen, making running water and toilets nearly impossible. Exposed skin can freeze within minutes, and even in heavy winter gear, a person caught outside too long risks frostbite or death. Eyelashes freeze together if you blink too slowly, and the cold stings your eyes and lungs with every breath. 10 minutes without protection can be fatal, while hypothermia sets in quickly, sometimes leading to confusion and hallucinations. A car breakdown is a death sentence. Combined with only a few hours of daylight during winter, it creates one of the harshest environments.